Crimean bridge attack and grain deal. This is what we're gonna talk about today, but not just that. We're also gonna talk about blow-ups in Crimea as well, and we will find out what is happening a little bit more in details, since there are quite a few days passed after the Crimean bridge was damaged, and for the last 3 days, Russia bombing Odessa, which is a port on the Black Sea coast, and it used to be hero city during World War II. And the USSR named it a hero city because of the heroic fights against Nazis or fascists of Hitler's army. And now Russia bombing a hero city of Odessa. I am personally also from hero city of Volgograd, which used to be Stalingrad during World War II. And it's very painful to see. Hi, I'm Elena. Welcome to my political channel Enough. Enough of propaganda. Not necessarily just Russian propaganda, but Russian propaganda as well. And actually, this picture I made, it states that by the, according to Sirena, Russian former president, who was during his presidency in charge of nuclear power, nuclear key or button, well, it's not a button, but 57 times since the beginning of full-scale invasion of Ukraine last year on February 24th, 2022, 57 times Dmitry Medvedev alone threatened the world with nukes. And so was Putin and lots of other people in Russia. But this is not just regular alcoholic, it's, well, he is an alcoholic as far as I know, but he was the president of Russian Federation and prime minister in the past. So let's talk about Ukraine, about Crimean bridge, and about the grain deal. We will start from more recent news and then we'll go a little bit back in time. So for the last 3 days, Russia pounding Odessa, a hero city of Odessa. This footage was published on TV Rain, but it's not just TV Rain, some footage coming from some Telegram channels and stuff like that. This is what it looks like in Odessa.
О, слышно, слышно.
Mayor of Odessa, Gennady Trukhanov, called this night one of the most horrific nights. Its most massive attack of Russia on Odessa since the full-scale invasion. And about 12 people wounded, include a child. The child is 9 years old. About 3,000 people in Odessa left without electricity right now. The infrastructure of the seaport of Odessa damaged, including grain and oil terminals, and also some tourist infrastructure on the coast. And this is, according to Russia, including it confirmed by Dmitry Peskov, the spokesman, that they attacked Odessa by precision weapons. Look how precision weapons working. And that it's a revenge attack because of the blowing up on Crimean bridge. So this is what Russia claims a revenge. This is a war crime. This is what called a T-word, which Putin used against about Crimean bridge. We will talk about bridge a little bit later. And more footage from Odessa. At night, the Russian occupiers launched a massive strike with missiles and drones in Odessa and Mykolaiv region. Calibers and Kh-22s were fired from ships and bombers. There were also a wave of Shahed UAV launched. I'll attach the video in the description and you can, or in the comment, you can watch it yourself. According to Ukraine, Russia proves it doesn't care about people desperate for food in Africa and elsewhere. Overnight, it tried to destroy Odessa city's harbor and grain storage sites. Fired 63 cruise missiles and drones, damaging grain storage and oil terminal. So it's confirmed also from Ukrainian side. And some loading equipment. Ukraine down 37 targets. This is what Ukraine is saying. This is from the channel of Alexei Goncharenko, Ukrainian politician. These photos were taken in the ports of Odessa and Chernomorsk. At night, Russia purposely attacked grain terminals. The grain infrastructure, international and Ukrainian traders and carriers, Colonel Vitera, SMA, SGM group was damaged. Is this still not enough to recognize Russia as a terrorist country? Russia attacked granaries. Putin wants to starve millions of people and doesn't hide it. This is the pictures from the terminals. This is footage from CNN, from their own correspondent in Odessa. This was the latest one, which was last night. And this is from previous night. I don't show you the sound just now, just... This is what was happening. This is, as we can see, so many Crimean people took videos and put them on social media. So now we know where the missiles are launched to Odessa from. You can watch the video if you like. And this is another reason why liberation of Crimea cannot wait. This is from Sevastopol, from the city in Crimea, which I actually have been in the past, shooting at Odessa. So Russia claims that it's a so-called response for Crimean Bridge. I cannot call it a response in any way. Russia attacked Ukraine in 2014 and in 2022, which I proved on my channel beyond any doubts. You can watch the playlist War in Ukraine in 2014 or even War in Ukraine 2022 to know that. Russia illegally occupied Crimea and built the illegal structure, but this is not the point. Crimean Bridge was destroyed because it's a legal military target. Why? Legitimate military target. Why it is that? Because about 70% of Russian supplies for Russian troops who fight in the war in Ukraine, aggressive war in Ukraine, coming through that bridge. It was destroyed before, and I had video about that. And the previous destruction helped Ukraine liberate Kherson without even attacking it and losing a whole bunch of people there. Ukraine worry about the army. They don't have and don't want to have convicts like Prigozhin and Wagner who they can throw in the fire without second thought. They are people, and Ukraine care about their army. That is why they're attacking, and you will see it today, exactly military targets, and they're blowing up the ammunition depot. When it is blown up, you will see that. And I'll show you it to you today, and I showed it to you in the past. And Russia is a terrorist state who attacked Ukraine, but Crimean Bridge was destroyed because of the significance to the military. It's a military target because it was supplying Russian troops in Ukraine. Without it, Russian troops will be in the big trouble, and even civilians now cannot, well, now they can, they kind of fix a little bit the bridge so they can go through the bridge. I'm an engineer, a civil engineer, but I'm mostly economist and I don't deal with bridges and that type of constructions. So, but even I saw the bridge and I saw that it is destroyed enough that it is dangerous to transport people over. But Ukraine could liberate Kherson because they attacked the bridge. The bridge was destroyed first time. And second time, of course, it's gonna help Ukraine, and this is legitimate military target. What is not is Odessa is a peaceful city. It's people, it's grain, and so on. So Putin now ordering, according to Glasnost Gone, Russia said it will target all ships traveling to Ukraine Black Sea ports. And so cowardly, Putin has ordered the sinking of ships carrying food to the world's most vulnerable people, including in Africa. Well, if African countries send their corrupt or stupid politicians to meet with Putin, and they were sitting with him at the same table, nodding to his lies, which they can simply verify information and find out it's not true what he's saying them, well, Enjoy starvation then. This is exactly what Russia said on the matter. This is from Natalka from Kiev. She has lots of valued and good information. Again, I use lots of sources. It's not the only information. This is the original posts from Russia. And I'll read you just a translation. From July 20th, all ships sailing in the Black Sea to Ukrainian ports will be considered as potential carriers of military cargo. Countries represented on the flags of such ships will be considered involved in the Ukrainian conflict on the side of the Kiev regime. This is what Russian Ministry of Defense was saying. And they keep calling Kiev regime. It's not Kiev regime. It's a legally elected government of Ukraine. Ukraine has at least 2 legal elections with real opposition and so on. And they elected first President Poroshenko, then President Zelensky.
Кожним таким ударом ми звертаємось до партнерів. Знов і знов повітряний щит України потребує посилення. Цей удар терористів доводить, що їхня мішень не лише Україна і не лише життя наших людей. У портах, які були атаковані, сьогодні зберігалося близько 1 мільйона тонн продовольства. Саме той обсяг, який вже давно мав би бути доставлений в країни-споживачі в Африці, в Азії.
This is what President Zelensky has to say. The port terminal that suffered the most from the Russian terror last night had 60,000 tons of agricultural products stored in it, which were intended to be shipped to China. Everyone is affected by this Russian terror. Everyone in the world should be interested in bringing Russia to justice for its terror. I agree. According to Channel 24, more information and pictures from Odessa and several private houses also was damaged. And as far as they know, from the Black Sea, Odessa was shot by 6 calibers, and at that time, this article is from 18th of July. All these 6 calibers were destroyed by air defense of Ukraine. But unfortunately, the pieces of the missiles and the force of the blow-ups, that several buildings were damaged, and even some older gentleman in his house get hurt. And also, they said 21 Shahed drones were destroyed near Odessa, and another 4 above Nikolaev region, and so on. In Mykolaiv itself, they damaged industrial object, industrial factory or something like that. But the fire was stopped, and fortunately nobody get hurt, and so on. The shots from caliber missiles mostly was from Russian frigate Admiral Essen, and Shahed drones were from the polygon, the military place Chauda in Crimea. This is CTV News. Russia targets Ukraine's port of Odessa and calls payback for strike on a key bridge in Crimea. Russia keep lying. Russian Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, without offering evidence, claiming that Ukraine were abusing the deal and that using grain corridor for military purposes. There are no proofs of that because it isn't true. This is not true, and people now gonna starve in Africa, Middle East, Asia, Syria, and so on. Well, let's say thank to Russia for that. This is channel of Anton Gerashchenko. And Putin named conditions for Russia to return into the grain deal. He said that Russia grain and fertilizer would have to be unsanctioned. Russian banks reconnected to SWIFT, and supplies of spare parts for agricultural machinery resumed. Obviously, the Kremlin terrorists didn't forget to blame the West of blackmailing while doing exactly the same thing. So this is a blackmail as it goes. You can see it. And all that Russian claims that everything is great and they don't need SWIFT and sanctions doesn't hurt them. Putin attacking Odessa, shooting at the city and claiming that that's what he wants. You can listen to him. I can't. It's just too annoying.
We should know one thing about President Putin. He's a professional liar.
This is what Dmytro Kuleba, Ukrainian Minister of Foreign Affairs, has to say. And he absolutely right. Putin is former KGB. KGB are all professional liars. And Putin lies all the time. I proved it many times on my channel. You're welcome to see. From the Crimea, when he claimed it, not our little green man, up to every single time. That is why I'm saying that there is no point to listen to Putin or anything official from Russia or any media from Russian Federation. I spent 9 years to verifying information, and I proved beyond any doubt Russia lies all the time. And Putin personally lies all the time as well. Please help Ukraine. Stop Putin. Thank you for watching, and have a great day or evening. See you later.